Let's talk about the camera on the P10. Let's just start with a simple interface of the camera. You have many options, abilities, and also different camera types. You can even download some more if you'd like. So if we just start with a simple photo mode and take a couple of photos and see how does it compare with the same thing that we do on the iPhone. So no additional settings, no anything, just leave it on full auto and let's see what happens. One thing I immediately noticed is that it wasn't pretty sure on how to light the picture, how to deal with the overblown parts and the really dark ones. And then I figured out that iPhone has an HDR function turned on all the time. So I went to HDR mode on P10 and tried to recreate the same shots. And what I got were inconsistent results. It was still not doing a very good job as an HDR mode. And then I figured out I was using it all wrong. That I should long press it and then point the little sun to the part where it was the lightest and where all the highlights were. And after that, it started to produce really amazing photos. So it just goes to show that if you're a person who just wants to point a camera and shoot, this is probably not going to be the phone for you, because the camera here is made to be quite complex and it gives you tons of creativity and tons of options. And it's good if you know how to use it and if you use it properly for the things you need. So P10 has two cameras, one monochrome and the other one that catches all the colors and all the vibrancy and everything, the life of your photo. You can see how they work together really nicely if you just turn on the monochrome effect and you are only shooting with the monochrome camera. And you can actually see what that camera captures in comparison to the color one. So because of these two technologies working together, you'll get really sharp photos and quite awesome colors. You can adjust between standard colors, vivid colors, or a bit washed out colors. I don't like oversaturated colors, and the standard mode sometimes did produce a tack of oversaturated colors. But again, you can easily tone that down with the washed out mode if you prefer that and if you wish to further edit your photos for Instagram or any other app that you wish to do so. In regarding to that, quite awesome. When it came to low light, also bigger sensor, lots of pixels, came really handy, and it was quite good in low light. It handled pretty well. It had a bit of problems in the mixed light color environment, or how should I say, how should I describe it? For example, I was sitting in a bar that had these yellow lights over the tables, but outside was still light, and when I was moving myself, especially in video, when I was moving myself from the yellow light to the blue light of the outside, it needed some time to recalculate the colors and how they should actually look like. The camera produces a really nice bokeh if you want to do those artsy photos. You can even set it to a wider aperture and it gets you even more blurry background. So in that regard, it's super nice and you can get some really nice photos, some really nice portraits. Just make sure that the background is really far back. It doesn't handle so well with things that are super close to each other. It's just a phone camera. Also, the one thing I also liked a lot about this phone is that its camera was really fast. You didn't release the button when the picture was already made. So in that regard, even with the HDR turned on, you know, HDR needs some time to process everything, it was still really fast and I could do a couple of photos one after another and it didn't lag, it didn't stop me, it just kept going and we made a lot of photos. That was one thing that I really like about this phone, that it's super fast from the fingerprint sensor to the camera to the system itself. So in that regard, it was really fast and really responsive. Then I turned over to the video mode, because maybe I could use this phone as my vlogging camera. And I turned on the front camera and I immediately noticed the beauty effects and everything, all the Asian stuff put on, and I was just like, okay, just zero everything and just turn it off, because I really don't like it. They really look like somebody took an eraser and just erased your skin altogether. You just lose all details. So after you turned all that down, then you can take some nice videos or pictures. So I tried it with the back camera. I tried it to take some shots of the surroundings, some walking shots, some jumping shots, some running shots. I did all in comparison with the iPhone. One thing I noticed is that the walking stabilization was awesome. Seriously, the video was so still and flowy and beautiful. There was some artifacting because I really don't know how to walk while I'm shooting, so I would never be a good camera guy. So there was quite a lot of artifacting every time I take a step, but otherwise the video was really fluent and really nice. But when you try to do a pan, that is one thing that a lot of digital stabilizers have a huge problem with. Because they're trying to stabilize the picture, and you're moving the frame, and when they see they will not be able to stabilize the picture, they release it, and they try to move, they try to stabilize the next picture and stabilize, and you're moving it, and when they see they cannot stabilize it anymore, they release it again, and you get the jerky movement every time you pan. And I saw that was quite prominent with the P10. It was like everywhere. You couldn't do a fluent pan, like to get a 5-second clip of a fluent pan. There was no such thing. Everything was super jerky. Even if I did it a couple of times, you know, because some stabilizers get used to it and they figure it out that you are trying to do a pan and they stop stabilizing in the vertical direction, it still wasn't getting it and it was still super jerky. I'm not saying that the iPhone is not making any jerky moves, it still does, but it's a lot less obvious. You can still do quite a good pan and you can still use some of the shots. It's not completely useless. Don't use P10 for pans, okay? So yeah, if you go back to the front camera of course has a little bit of less pixels, therefore you lose a bit of the details, and of course they want to make you as beautiful as possible, and there goes another set of pixels. I had a feeling that the pictures were quite too airbrushed for my opinion, but then when I put it on computer I saw that there still was some detail retained. I just had a feeling, but there was detail, but not much, like you can't really see a single eyelash. Also, one thing I noticed is that the front camera has a really wide angle, which is usually a weird thing because if you do your selfie really close, from really close, it makes your chin and forehead like super long because of the lens distortion. For example, I don't know if this lens does that. No, this lens is super cool and it doesn't do that. But still my forehead looks like it's been here for decades. So I was quite surprised by that they chose to have a wide lens for the front camera. But that can, if you are aware of that, that can be super awesome because you can take more than just you and your friend in the shot. You can maybe put 3 people in a vertical front selfie shot, which can be quite awesome. In that matter, it's quite good. Another amazing thing that P10 camera does have, it's laser autofocus, and it truly works amazing. As a vlogger, you need it. As somebody who takes a lot of photos, you need laser autofocus. You need your autofocus to be super fast, to be quickly changing between one thing and another, and then this again, and then maybe some camera again. But this is the Sigma lens, so this is not gonna be as fast, but it was still fast. So you need that when you are working with your phone, especially because you're usually on the go and you need things to be really fast and moving. So it focuses really fast on the things you want it to focus, and I really love that, and I think it's a huge plus. So is this camera awesome, amazing, and beyond words? Or should we get something else? Well, my answer here is quite complicated. Because if you're somebody who is looking for a fully automatic camera where you only need to open the camera app and it takes amazing photos, I think you could go for other phones for that. This camera, however, is great for those of you who want that extra creativity, that extra space to play with the camera, to play with settings, to take some time to take a picture and not just take a picture and then go. So if you're the kind of person who takes time with their pictures, this might be an amazing camera for you. It's sharp, it's a bit contrast inclined, but you can put that down in settings. So if you are willing to play with the settings before you start making photos with this camera, it's going to be awesome. If you just want a point and shoot camera, this might not be the phone for you. Would I buy this phone just for the camera? Probably not. I mean, still, I haven't seen like something, except for the autofocus, there was nothing really blowing my mind. What do you think? I mean, has anyone had the opportunity to test the camera on the P10? I would really like to know. What is your opinion? You can just leave it in the comments below. I am always hanging out down in the comments and we can talk and we can chat. And be sure you like this video because I know how much you love this camera review in a separate video from the phone review, right? If you want me to do more separate camera reviews focused just on the camera, be sure to hit that like button and I'll see you soon. Bye!